Welcome everyone to Live at 3D Experience World 2025. It is day 3. I'm here with Jesse, of course, but we have a special guest here. Karim, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you both?
Doing great. Excited to have you here.
I was mentioning to you, very, very excited to speak with you. I know, actually, today is this sort of community day here on Live at 3D Experience World, and I've spoken to many attendees. We have around 4,000 people here, and a lot of people who know who you are and have admired your work for years. I think one of our attendees actually has a book of yours with her, Design Yourself,
Right.
I believe from 2006.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm just actually thinking about doing second edition now.
There you go.
It's coming up to 20 years already.
I'm sure she'll pre-order.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. And you can always tell, right? You can always tell when someone's been a longtime fan because the book looked like she bought it, close to 2006 or 2007. They're, little folded notes.
I just signed it for her. It was,
Yeah,
it was
there
in
you
good
go.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it looked like she hadn't just, gotten it on Amazon or something. Like she had actually read it and digested it. But I mentioned, we're really excited to talk with you here. I love having people at this desk because we can have very free-form conversations. Of course, we're giving a keynote later on, which we're also very excited about. But I thought, one area to maybe start on with you in terms of kicking off the conversation was on the topic of chairs. So I did a little bit of research for our conversation, and some of my research, and you may correct me because you're clearly an astute student of design history, that some of the earliest chairs source back to something like 3100 BC, back in Egypt, as I've read. And today, it's we have 30 years of Solidworks. It's 2025 AD, and we're still designing new chairs.
Yes.
Why is this not a solved problem at this point? We've had thousands of years to do this.
I know it's interesting what you say because right at this moment, I have a lot of stress with a company designing some chairs. So
Sorry to hear that.
It's amazing.
Maybe we'll solve it right here.
It's interesting you bring it up. First of all, there's two sides of the coin of this problem. One is that design went through a period where it was very strictly about problem solving, right? And this goes back to Germany, to the Werkbund and post in Bauhaus and onward. So it was, we had to make products that function and function well. Mm-hmm. And the Industrial Revolution obviously shifted everything in that regard, right? So that we could have accessible, more democratic things in our lives. And then we got up to a point of sort of experimentation. And that experimentation hit in the sort of early 60s. And the experimentation was more about now designers, engineers, people, product development people, looking at making objects more expressive, and how can I say, having more of an emotional content and connecting with everyday life and with people. At the same time, this notion of what I call designocracy, of making objects that were more accessible to more people. So for example, when you look at the classics, the chair classics, going way back to Le Corbusier or Charles Eames or all these chairs that we know now, they were extremely expensive at that time. They weren't for everybody. They were actually for the elite. We sort of think now that a Charles Eames chair was a democratic chair, for everybody. So all of a sudden the shift went now from experimentation, forgetting about function a little bit, forgetting about solving problems, and doing things for creating new markets, for diverse, languages, being more poetic, being more expressive. And so then designers went full out by the 80s and 90s of really challenging what is the possibility and what can I do with something banal like a chair, right? And now we're coming all the way back around. And when you say, why do we need more chairs? You could argue there's probably been a few million chairs designed, right? And I actually saw one of the first folding chairs in the Cairo Museum there, which is, roughly about 1500 BC. And it's the same mechanism that more or less we use now for the majority of folding chairs.
Wow.
But we keep doing it. Why do we keep doing it? Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
And I think with hyperconsumption, we keep doing a lot of things that we shouldn't necessarily be doing, period. But when there's a challenge coming up with something like a new chair, it's loaded with the opportunities of what are the new technologies, right? And the new technologies are driving our newer commodity. And that also affords, my philosophy is, and I'll probably mention this in my talk, is that technology is an opportunity to do something original. New technologies are.
And is that was driving that initial shift that you were talking about around the 60s as well? It was just manufacturer?
No, the 60s was different because it was, yes, there were two things going on. Yes, there were some new technologies were always driving industrial design and product development, no question about it. If you go back to the 1930s, Alvar Aalto bent plywood chair like this because there was a factory bending plywood for sewage pipes. You know, if you look at Marcel Brauer, Mark Stamm, they built the famous chairs that we now are ubiquitous, but there was a handlebar factory for bicycles in Dresden, Germany. So they went, oh, you can bend a bar like that, maybe we could support somebody on a bar. So the technology was always part of the equation.
That's one of my favorite things about design are those weird little crossovers where it's like that situational thing where you have a creative designer that was just in proximity to something that was being used for something else and then suddenly splits off into something totally new. I love those little things like that.
Those are beautiful, and in fact, that's the opportunity to do something pivotal and something interesting. Yeah.
I think technology is an interesting point to stick on. Of course, this is majorly a technology conference. Everyone watching here, you know, every mechanical designer, engineer, industrial designer watching this conference knows that. Everyone walking by is actively in these roles. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, and I've heard you speak about this, is that when you are sketching, for example, you have all these sort of synaptic connections sort of working together, right? You talk a lot about how, you know, AI, for example, generative AI can create something beautiful, but maybe not functional. They may not understand the context. Maybe an inexperienced designer, they may be able to design something beautiful in terms of sketching something that looks aesthetically pleasing, but maybe not something that's manufacturable. When I sort of think about all the synapses that you have that are firing, you know, in terms of your tastes, your preferences, your knowledge of different manufacturing methods, your knowledge of the eventual consumer or user of a product or device, and I think about, you know, the very process of sketching as you're going about that and making a concept. How do you see CAD itself? And we talked about Solidworks just a moment ago. You have a lot of Solidworks experience, actually. How do you see CAD almost, you know, being assistive in that capacity, or on the other hand, maybe in some senses being restrictive?
Yeah. Well, it's both, obviously.
Can be both.
Yes, and can be both. You know, when you draw, or at least the way I was educated, and as a child, because my father was an artist and he was a set designer for film and television, so we were in the house constantly drawing. It was this. In fact, we had this beautiful moment, I remember, where after dinner, we would draw each other. So at the dining table, literally at the dining table, you know. So, so I became very fluid with drawing, and I love drawing. And as I got educated in design, I realized over time, but this took a long time, that when I draw, the second I put pencil to paper, the ideas are there, but the ideas are one, ideas, two, how I'm going to produce the product, three, what the materials will be, you know. 4, what will the sort of social behavior of that thing? How would, you know, how would you sit? So when I draw now, I'm sort of, that stuff is all simultaneous, period. But even with that said, and I could draw exceptionally well, at some point there was a turning point, and it was for me in the early 90s, really. I was teaching at Rhode Island School of Design, and there were some new softwares. In fact, in the late 80s, I was using Alias Wavefront. And Alias was from Toronto, which is where I was brought up. So I became buddies with the guys who started Alias. They let me use the software for free. I had an SGI, all that old school. I'm probably, when I say SGI, nobody even knows what I'm talking about, right? I'm showing my age. And the idea, all of a sudden, I saw the potential. That I was seeing a rendering. I was doing a post boxes for Canada Post.
Oh, wow.
And I saw rendering of the post box, like, you know, I got it to rotate.
Yeah.
And basically, at the end of the day, it was a rectangular cube rotating. and I presented it to the Canadian Post Office, and I had a group of 40, 50 people sitting there. And I showed them on the monitor their new mailbox, post box that's going to be on the streets, rotating. They were in awe, like awe. And I realized it was interesting that the design really, at the end of the day, sucked. But they were in awe because they were seeing this technology.
Yeah.
You know, they're being wowed by the technology. And for me, I realized, oh, this is an opportunity here that I can maybe do things that never existed before in history because I have these technologies to work with. So immediately when I started, I was just teaching at RISD. I opened up a computer lab for the industrial design department. Then when I went off to Pratt, I managed to get Solidworks into all the labs. And I was teaching industrial design. And I realized that, this is a big plug for Solidworks, is that thing created, in a way, was a big, huge part of my career. And I realized that the beauty of going immediately to computer, to CAD, to a rendering, was, over time, was moving much faster than my brain could actually move in the sense of sketching.
Interesting.
I couldn't sketch at the same, how can I say, beauty, capacity, intellect, engineering level, et cetera, by drawing. And even to the point where, and I draw every day, but even now when I draw, because I'm trying to do much more complex things using new technologies, I can't really draw I can't express myself through drawing anymore.
Wow.
But you could argue that SolidWorks is a drawing tool. And these softwares that we have are drawing tools. Even AI in that regard, in the sense if you use it in design, it is yet another drawing tool.
How do you see that? Because that is a topic, when you reach these sort of pinnacle moments, I think in the history of a company or a tool, right, like SolidWorks, that's been used by 8 million people at this point. You have a tendency to look back, right? And so we look backwards, and SolidWorks is very, very simple at first, right? We would do sketches, we'd extrude features, we can still do all these things, but it was a very simple tool. Now, today, we see in the main general session halls, these announcements of different generative AI features, many of which are, potentially assistive to designers.
Right.
One of the things I've heard you speak about is that, and I mentioned it a moment ago, that sometimes in the sort of generative nature of AI or generative style AI, where I'm creating pictures or videos or mock-ups, for example, of different physical products or goods, it may lack context, right? It may lack context in terms of, is this thing manufacturable? Would it be usable by a given user and the intended consumer? Let's say 1 to 3 years from now, that's a solved problem. There's an AI model that can do that, can consider context, is very aware of manufacturing methods, and only will give you output based on, let's say, prompts that can be made and are good for the consumer. Then what is the role of the designer in your mind?
Yeah. I knew you were going to ask me that question. and it's a question that I've been sort of struggling with and trying to inform myself with and think about the future of design in general. My first thought is how problematic it is for education. Like if I'm today 18 and I'm going to go study an industrial design degree and spend 4 or 5 years in university, how does that play in AI? And because when I went to university, not only did we have none of this at our fingertips at all, so you sort of had to go through the rigor and the discipline of understanding how a product is made, understanding engineering, understanding tooling, understanding all these things. Now you can just have a beautiful image, right? The one advantage personally I find with myself is that I can actually, when I have a beautiful image, I know how to get that image into production. So I realize, my 40 years of experience is added up to that. So what about now you're a young student or something and you get an image, right? The stumbling blocks you're talking about are there. Okay, now we go 2-3 years from now, exactly what you're saying, and next thing you know, I can take that image, just like now, I'm designing a building, and I took a floor plan of 30 apartments, and AI showed me 20, 30 variations of the same square meterage floor plan, and I looked at them all. I still have to sort of have a really strong sense of social human behaviors and human experience.
Sure.
Because I can look at 30 floor plans and somebody may just pick one randomly, or you can look at those 30 floor plans and understand this would never work, this doesn't work, why, because, and look, here's the daylight coming from the window, but the bathroom is over here and it's not going to fit, and and you critique that. So that's the short term. Long term is something that I wouldn't even want to predict. There's a website online, I don't remember what it's called, where it has all these famous quotes of famous people, and 98% of them are completely wrong.
They're just wrong.
So how do you predict how AI is going to play in shaping our experiences and shaping our human spaces and our objects around us? I don't have the answer. Do you have the answer?
No.
I think you do. I think you're pretty savvy with this.
Not in the next 13 seconds, at least.
Oh, okay. Is that our time? We're running out of time?
Yeah, somehow.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
so
I was just getting started.
I know.
no,
Us too.
yeah, I could sit here for the rest of 3D Experience Roll with you to talk about this stuff. But we have a huge crowd. Can everyone give a round of applause for Karim here?
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
All right, well, once again, thank you so much for stopping
Pleasure.
by. It was a pleasure
Yeah,
to
yeah.
meet you. I
Likewise.
was very much looking forward to it. Up next, we have Steve Brazier to talk more about AI across different dimensions. Very excited for that. We are going to be right back. We are back here live at 3D Experience World 2025 in Houston, Texas. We are joined by Steve Brazier. How's it going, Steve?
Good, I'm having a wonderful day. Lots of packed sessions already and looking forward to chatting with you guys.
Great to see you. So you were, of course, here. We spoke about this on day one, actually. You were here as part of the Draft Site Live program, and you were giving a keynote, right? So what were you speaking about there?
I was speaking to the partners in the room, people responsible for bringing DraftSight into customers, and trying to describe to them how quickly the world's changing. I didn't talk about geopolitics, but of course in that respect, it's changing very fast. I think it's already changed this morning with the 25% tariffs on the EU coming out announcement.
Yeah, we talked to you 12 days before the event, and we said, "What are you going to talk about?" You said, "I have no idea." We got 12 days to go.
It was the most useless prep call. I think we'd all agree, because it's like we all agree it's hard to prep for the world right now. Like,
Yeah, but I didn't talk much about geopolitics, but I talked a lot about AI, which is also changing by the day. New announcements from Anthropic yesterday, Alibaba announcing a new video tool today. It's really
Hadn't
tough
even
to
heard.
keep
That's
up.
news to me, so
Yeah.
thanks for the
Yeah.
information.
So I think maybe I'll start off with a softball. So we just talked with Karim specifically regarding the role of the designer. Of course, we just heard in the future, maybe 1 to 2 years, if generative AI can get to a place where it understands context, right? It understands manufacturing methods. The things that it produces for us are more advanced, much more advanced than today. Maybe they'd be unrecognizable. So I want to start off with a softball for you. We have around 8 million users worldwide now. That was a big announcement here. Is AI coming for everyone's job?
AI,
Softball question.
AI will certainly discontinue some jobs. AI will create new jobs. I think, we hope it will create more new jobs than it takes jobs away, and it will also enhance jobs. Let's not be dinosaurs here. When the horse and cart came, Henry Ford launched the automobile, and the horse and cart drivers thought they'd lose their jobs, they lost their jobs, but the automobile created a lot of new jobs, and we've seen that time again with the arrival of the PC. The role of a secretary, the typist pools went away, but we still have lots of executive assistants. So the job changed and moved on, and the internet came, and once again, it created new jobs. So I'm an optimist. It's difficult to prove, but we will create many more jobs than destroy jobs. And I'll give you one example. Another new launch this week is the adoption of AI in weather forecasting. And okay, it will be nice to know that if you're going fishing or going on a hike or playing golf, when exactly it's going to rain, so you can prepare or change your plans. That's what we all think about with enhanced weather forecasting. But actually, it's the detail of the weather forecast that will change. Rather than just predicting when it will rain and the weather, we'll get information on wind speeds, but not only wind speeds at the ground, but wind speeds further up, which means aircraft can plan their routes differently, which means wind turbines can know when they're going to be on full-on power or not. And of course, all of that new data will create new jobs because people have to work out what to do with the aircraft, what to do with the wind turbines. So like the internet and digital marketing created a role for digital scientists, data scientists to understand how to better do marketing, all of this new information, weather just being one example, will create new jobs as we work out how to optimize in these new environments.
So then how do you recommend people go about it? They say you got somebody who says, okay, I could see my job being replaced by this. How do you keep up or get ahead of that? What do you use to keep up? You're so on the edge of things. How can somebody who suspects that they might be in danger or could...
Not sure where you're going there with on the edge.
Well, maybe by the end of the interview, I'll clarify by on the edge. But
well,
how do you keep up with something that's moving that fast?
Yeah, I think that's relatively simple. And let's say there's a couple of answers. If you're going to recruit a software developer right now, there's a trick question you ask them because you say, do you use AI to help you? And they think if they answer, yes, I use AI, then we think worse of them.
Right.
Interesting.
But actually, if they don't use AI to help them, we don't want to employ them.
Interesting, yeah.
And the answer is, it's incumbent on me and everyone else to use it as much as we possibly can. I now don't use Google, I use Gemini, their AI chat. Although it does have environmental consequences, I am worried about the amount of electricity it then uses. But ignoring that point, Gemini gives me better, faster, more comprehensive answers than Google ever did. And normally in one shot, not having to scroll down lots of links.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point too, because I suspect a lot of people might be concerned about those other impacts that we individually have no control over, right? But I think you said on our call when we talked, you really can't. Like it's not for us to decide. There's nothing really we can do about it. All we can do is adapt to the technology as quickly and try to just keep rolling with it, right?
Yeah, I think as an individual, we have to use it, and the governments of the world do have a joint duty to think through the consequence of the environment and how we minimize the consequences. The role of data centers and use of energy and cooling is a problem, but I think we can also again say AI will also improve the world and hopefully improve the way we manage climate change and give us better understanding and better renewable energy and all the rest of it. So it will have positives as well as negatives. I think we jumped topics. The key point I said on stage was use it every day, use it for everything. And then I loved the last interview you just did, and he was talking about design and how quick it is to produce an AI design of something like it wasn't when he went to university. All true. The one thing I said on stage where a lot of my images were AI generated. And it's funny because a year ago that was really cool. Now it's rather dull. Everyone's doing it. You can immediately spot it. And again, what do we need? We need authenticity. We need that human touch. So AI assisted, AI enabled, but then we need to put our own personality onto this. Otherwise, people will switch off. They won't watch. They won't engage because they've seen it all before.
Yeah, I've kind of sensed that too. And it's hard to know, how quickly the systems learn and how, none of us can predict that. But it is interesting to, I suspect that will kind of die out, like you mentioned, because at some point we don't really care what our computer says to us. We care what we say to each other, right? I'm not interested in replacing Sean with a computer. I like talking to Sean. So I suspect that element can't die, right? Like that can't go away. So it will be interesting to see how that.
It was rather interesting. I think we get into this in the arts, at least as I observed, and surely you've probably observed in a variety of contexts, that I think the importance of humanity and authenticity was reaffirmed, especially in cases, and a lot of you probably remember this culturally, when we all of a sudden were hearing these songs that sounded like our favorite artists on YouTube. The songs might have, sonically sounded okay, might have sounded fine, sort of freaky, for a moment, but how often did you go back and re-listen to those songs?
Never again. Yep.
At least. And I think for me, there was a moment that it sort of clicked that there is a reason beyond how the songs sound or how the art looks that makes me feel a connection to a piece of music or a piece of art, right? Or even a piece of writing that I was, I think, previously unaware of to some extent.
Remember, you two might be too young, but when clip art first came along,
Yep.
I've used it in school project.
Yeah, everyone was using clip art, and now nobody would use clip art.
Right.
I think there will be some of that.
That's a good analogy.
And you mentioned authenticity. We're talking here at a very successful 3D experience event. I was out on the streets last night with food courts and buzzing atmosphere, and that's marketing that's authentic. People meeting with people. And I think there will be a real danger that there'll be a proliferation of videos, podcasts, AI generated, and it'll become so dull so quickly that events are the one place that you can trust that you're speaking to a human. I'm not a hologram. So even that's quite hard to prove.
It can be difficult.
Yeah, that's a great.
Sure.
And so obviously we make a lot of video content. Some of it live host. Obviously we're actually live right now. But I do think about that because you can build yourself an avatar, and it won't be too long before you could not know that we're actually sitting here, right? If you're viewing at home, are we sitting here? We are actually sitting here, by the way. But we do think about that. Like, what is the point then? I don't really have any interest in replacing myself or digitally making myself talking to somebody else. I want to talk to you guys. So that is interesting.
I think one point that we made yesterday, so I gave a breakout session. We have hundreds of those. We've talked about that. So I was giving a breakout session that partially dealt with AI and how people in our industry and adjacent industries could leverage it. And one of the biggest points that my co-presenter and I continued to reiterate was that you have to stay in control. You have to stay in control. You cannot just make an image or make some sort of output and just publish it. You have to really understand the potential ramifications, almost as if it's your colleague or someone on your team that's making the output. There almost is no difference. So yeah, I wholeheartedly kind of see where we're going with that.
I think just to take that point, it does depend on the task. If I'm helping my kid with his homework, then I want an image quickly and the teacher won't care, and so let's get it done.
Yeah.
What's the risk?
If we're deciding what to paint on that wall for the next 10 years,
Right.
then we need to engage human talent. So I think it's
menial tasks, you can replace those
it
easily.
depends on the task. It also depends on the risk.
Great point.
What happens if we get this wrong? If a plane's going to crash or someone's going to die, you don't want to use AI. If it's just about how do I turn my computer on, I think we'd rather use AI.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one question before we wrap here, as we wrap here, that I wanted to ask you, because I think you have some really interesting thoughts. And sometimes I think a lot of us have a tendency, at least I do, if you were at any point, let's say in the 90s, and you were looking at the internet, and many people did make judgments on the internet in the 90s as far as what it would be capable of, what it was for, who it was for. Now it's like, well, it's for everybody. We all use it, right? But that wasn't always the case. So if I'm looking at AI today, say in 2025, and then maybe I look forward to 2026, 2027, what sorts of things do you think we will start to see in the general public? What should we be looking out for as the next sort of phase?
AI will be everywhere, just like the word processor or Excel. We will use AI without even realizing we're using AI. Often it will become more and more embedded, part of the tool. As you said, a co-worker. So I don't think there's any question of that. I think the question, like with the internet, remember the internet never disappeared, but we did have the dot-com crash. The question that is not solved is how do we make money from AI, and how do we get back all the cost of the capital expenditure? That's where there may be a big big catastrophe. But even if there is a big catastrophe, AI will still power ahead.
Sure.
It's just who makes the money and who's the winners and losers maybe is less clear at this stage.
Interesting.
Yeah, one thing you mentioned to me previously, and I know it's a big topic right now, and I personally think it's going to be a huge topic in 2025, is the sort of rise of agentic AI. That is sort of a next phase that I haven't totally seen, but I believe is definitely kind of coming.
Yeah, the example I gave on stage was, imagine that you're sitting in Houston today, you decide to take all the partners from San Francisco out to dinner, and you could just say to your chatbot, please book me the best restaurant in town, invite everyone from San Francisco, send them a message, send an Uber to their hotel half an hour before, and we'll all meet there. And by the end of this year, in fact, even by mid-year, we'll be able to do things like that. Different tools joined together, working together. That's one of the announcements this week. The question is, will the humans turn up, or will they think, it's another boring message, delete, and you turn up at the restaurant and there's no one there? That will happen too. Yeah.
Or you'll say, my AI doesn't talk to your AI.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. It's always so great to talk to you and hear your thoughts on the future, as uncertain as they can sometimes seem. But yeah, lots of excitement as well. So thank you so much.
It's great being with you in Houston.
All right. Well, everyone, just in a moment, we'll be heading to the Model Mania Extreme Deep Dive. We're going to have some really fun stuff at the desk here in just a moment, so please stay tuned. I did it. Welcome back to Live at 3D Experience World 2025. This is a mega segment. This is a deep dive on Model Mania Extreme. You may have seen some of it throughout the week, but if you missed it, we're going over a lot of things that you didn't see. So if you did see it, once again, we have a ton to get into. What is Model Mania Extreme? Why did we create it? Reviewing the creation of the materials and the props that made it come to life. Showing select rounds and competitions that occurred during the week, much more than we saw earlier, and how you at home can use the sort of feature app for the Model Mania Extreme competition, X-Shape, yourself in a variety of capacities, almost whoever you are, wherever you are. So I'm going to welcome on my guests, Jason and Gian. You guys aren't in character. Welcome.
Hey, what's that?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
So
Just
happy
wanted
to
tell
be
you,
here.
I'm excited to be here too. I'm a huge fan of SolidWorks Live.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's got me through some dark times, man.
Yeah, there's this guy I know named Surface Slayer. You might have seen him if you watched Day One. He
Good
seems
guy.
like he's
He's a good guy. He is an absolute madman, though.
He's talented and passionate.
as they say in the biz, has some demons.
A little bit. I think so.
You could say that.
He's got some anger issues. He
Some
needs to
anger
work
issues.
out.
He can only work out through using X-Shape.
That's right.
In competition format. A lot of rage, a lot of selective rage. So, Gian, I wanted to start off with you. We have a lot of great videos to show you guys, kind of recapping the sights and sounds of the Sub-D Showdown Model Mania Extreme, which we will assuredly get to throughout this session. But, you know, I wanted to kind of ground us here. You can answer me in character. You can be the Extreme Championship Modeling MC, or you can be Gian Galisi, whoever you want to be. What was the premise and the idea behind Model Mania Extreme?
Of course, Sean. You know, Model Mania Extreme. I'm gonna stay out.
Wear
of
your
character.
sunglasses, by the way.
I can't do that right now. We've had too much fun already. I can't have any more. They're gonna kick me out of here. Model Mania Extreme, though, was this amazing idea that Jason had, and we kind of teamed up together to make it happen this year. We just wanted to see designers go head-to-head in the ring in a really fun and engaging way. So we had users step in the ring, and we also had some X-Shape experts like Surface Slayer you were talking about, Zebra Stripe Assassin that we saw in the final matchup. We just wanted to get our products out there, and we wanted to also just have so much fun with it, and I think mission accomplished.
Jason, do you have fun?
Yeah, you know what? It's all about having fun, and that's how I've approached life since I was a toddler. You know, it's like, how much fun can I have? And I love and respect Model Mania, but I thought it was time to bring it to the extreme.
To the extreme.
Model Mania Extreme.
All right, we have some really good stuff here, right? We had multiple, as you guys mentioned, multiple contestants, multiple gimmicks, personalities. You had multiple rounds. Well, let's check out the first model prompt and also the first round altogether of Model Mania Extreme, featuring Surface Slayer, of course, and the Mesh Cage Marauder.
Oh, let's get ready to model! All right, they're off, folks. We've got a quad ball. We've got quite a lot of vertices, quite a lot of loops. Typically, we want to start with less and only add them as we need them, but Zebra Stripe Assassin is fearless. Adding some hips on the back. What about Surface Slayer?
Welcome to Model Mania Extreme! We're about to see designers go head-to-head in epic speed modeling challenges using Sub-D modeling in X-Shape. Designers have no idea what they're about to model in the next 3 rounds of 7 minutes of modeling. We've got designer 2 in one corner, straight from the headquarters in cold and dreary Massachusetts, the literal creator of the X-Shape app, Rob Jost, aka the Mesh Cage Marauder! Hailing from Wallkill, New York, by way of Mendota, Illinois, we have a seasoned design veteran. You may know him from his time on the hit TV series American Chopper. He ain't playing, he's slaying. Jason, the Surface Slayer Poole! He's here to slay, folks. Are you ready? All right, designers, let's have a clean match. Touch mice. Prepare to fight at the sound of the bell. And they are off. Beautiful. We got Surface Slayer starting with a box over here. And what do we got for Mesh Cage Marauder is also, ooh, we got a nice graphic of the spaceships. Lots of inspiration. So these designers, they can take it in any direction they want. Smashing surfaces for breakfast is what the Surface Slayer does. True story, Jason was born holding a mouse with a middle button in his right hand. This Model Mania Extreme belt created and designed by Jason Poole. He created this thing with the help of one of our sponsors, Send Cut Send. They create custom sheet metal parts for you. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
That's an absolute classic. Jason, what do we got going on yours? Let's see the Surface Slayer's work in progress. Wow, all right, that's looking beautiful. In only 7 minutes of modeling, that's all they've done so far. Are we feeling for round 2? We ready to go? At the sound of the bell, you can begin modeling once again. All right, and they are off once again. Wow, look at this. What do we got going on here, Mesh Cage Marauder? What are we adding?
We're adding a little bit of, engine.
Okay, I thought we were going to turn that into a flame. A little bit less cool, but I still like it. What do we got going on here? Surface Slayer, what are we working on?
Adding some turbines.
We have some fins coming off the back of these turbines. Is that what's happening here?
I'm going to run this through simulation real quick.
Oh, he's going to simulate the surface real quick.
Using just my mind.
How many boosters do we have back there? Is that 4? Wow. And what do we got for Surface Slayer out here? Wow, this is looking absolutely crazy. This looks like something an alien would show up and abduct you with. I would be afraid to step into either one of these spacecrafts.
10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take a look at these models for one more moment before we enter the final round. The Mesh Cage Marauder looks like he is almost already done with his space shuttle in only 2 rounds. Let's check in on Surface Slayer. Give us a little spin around. He is going crazy futuristic. I love it. I think we're ready to begin the final round. And they are off. All right, I need to hear from Mesh Cage Marauder. What are we doing here with another subdivision surface being added?
We're adding some proper boosters.
Some boosters. We're moving on to booster rockets. All right, Surface Slayer. He's in screen mode. He just changed the orientation of the robot to screen mode. He just goes crazy with any view that he can get his hands on. He wants the screen mode the whole time. We've got a gas tank. We've got 1 booster. Not a ton of detail on that booster yet, but it looks like we're adding some now. Wow, this is looking good. He's got 2 boosters on there. They're kind of simple looking, but they are definitely boosters.
1 minute left in this round.
That's the official 1 minute left. What do we got going on here, Surface Slayer? What are we attempting to add?
Just a little something, something.
Just a little something, something. Mesh Cage Marauder, what has he moved on to in these final moments? Wow, he has made the boosters blue. I've never seen a rocket like that in my life. All right, designers, that's it. You've modeled all you can model. It's time to put our cards on the table. Mesh Cage Marauder, give this model a little spin. Let our audience check it out. That's looking pretty nice. What did we end up with from the Surface Slayer? Wow, that is pretty sweet. Remember, this is only 21 minutes of modeling in total to create these 2 designs. All right, let's hear it for Mesh Cage Marauder. Let's hear it for Surface Slayer. Oh my goodness. Do we have an upset? I think we have an upset. Designers, get over here. We've got our winner, Surface Slayer! Come back same time tomorrow, 12:30 Central Standard Time, to see 2 more designers go head to head.
Too good. Too
Some called it.
So we had some questions in the chat, not questions, but just remarks. So fun.
Awesome.
Wow, love this. So great job. Great job, Jason. That was you, right?
Thanks. Well, you know, Sean, I can't take full responsibility for the Surface Slayer. What he does on his time is really up to him.
His business, yeah, and our business if we're in attendance.
That's right.
Putting ourselves at risk.
But I can understand how people get me confused with the Surface Slayer.
There are some similarities.
There are.
There are. Well, I wanted to shift focus a little bit. You know, I talked at the very beginning of this segment that part of the purpose of this segment was to take a deep dive into the props, right? And we have something very special to you and your loved ones and your fans, your belt.
That's right.
Right, so let's hold that up. Let's take a close shot there
Yeah.
with the camera here. If we zoom in, some really awesome details on that belt. What does this belt mean to you?
It means everything.
It's everything.
Oh no, Surface Layer, he's coming out. His other personality.
No,
Well,
it's just, it's something special. Wanted to show off what we could make and just do something to be proud of, It's not always one can just make their own trophy and carry it
not
around.
always.
That's true.
But sometimes you can. At the 3D Experience World 2025.
I always wanted a championship belt and saw the opportunity to make one.
And if we're going to have a boxing ring, if we're going to have a ring with designers going head to head, you got to have the belt.
Yeah.
What is this without the belt?
I wasn't going to come all the way here, Sean, and lose.
And of course, it was made in. Yeah, that's true. Of course, it was made inside Solidworks. And Jason, many of you know, Jason is one of the best designers I know.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. And part of the segment, once again, is to show you not only the sights and sounds at the competitions, but also how it came together. The props and of course the belt. So we have a very special look at how the belt was made right here. Wow, incredible. I continue to be in awe of Jason and Gion's skills, I should say. But before we get even further into the edutainment of Model Mania Extreme, I wanted to give a quick plug for our sponsor, Send Cut Send. Let's play this quick video. Now, to be clear, Send Cut Send, not just give some money, slap the label on the belt sponsor, right? You guys have a history with Send Cut Send. You can vouch for it personally, right?
Yeah, that's right. I use it at my shop all the time. It's great. I create what I'm designing, create a DXF or a step file, upload it to Send Cut Send's website, and they give me an instant quote. Then I select the thickness, the type of material, and hit buy. And it shows up at my door. it's amazing.
That's
growing up. It was always like you had to have access to a really expensive, really big machine called a water jet machine, and like blast it yourself. But what's cool with not having that in my garage, because basically money and space, I'm able to use Send Cut Send and get parts almost immediately and make whatever I'm working on.
Yeah, you were telling me before, you used to have to know a guy. Now our guy is Send Cut Send.
Yeah. No, that's right. It's not, I think it's knowing, like having a resource, whether it's yours or someone else, but also like just the idea of knowing how to get something made. Right. Like there's that aspect. There's so many aspects that Send Cut Send sort of almost obliterates, right, in terms of meaning.
Yeah, not only did they give us the parts, the metal parts, and the fixtures, but they also sponsored the making of the ring as well, which is really cool. So
yeah, so I was going to ask you, which vendor did you use to make the ring itself?
So the ring, although it was sponsored by Send Cut Send, it was our friends at Our Next Make, Sal and Chinlu Lama. They've got an amazing YouTube channel called Our Next Make. They make everything. For anything you can think of, if you've thought about making it, they've probably already done it. And without them, as well as our producers, Ian Adair and Andrew Gross, none of this would have happened. This was a huge team effort, but yeah, that ring is incredible. We had a lot of fun making it.
It's awesome. So we have a video of the making of the belt, and you guys guessed it. We have a video of the making of the squared circle, where the combatants, the modelers, whatever you guys call them, took part in the competition. Let's take a look at that video.
Model Mania Extreme!
Awesome. Yeah, there was a lot going on in the playground with that specific ring, right? As if there was another ring. But no, so we have our own concepts. We want to bring the fun to you guys here at 3D Experience World. But then it wasn't just that, people were, we had our own contestants. Of course, we had our different personas. We had our competition. We saw, full-on match 1, 2, 3 set with the Mesh Cage Marauder just a moment ago with Surface Slayer. But the community kind of had a mind of its own, right? Once we had the ring established, what was going on there beyond just the competition?
Sure. So for us, it was like we wanted to bring, the whole CAD element into more of a sport, something mainstream. And people that use CAD are extremely athletic. And we wanted to showcase that. And what better to have all the attendees hop in the ring and face each other in their own Model Mania. Some were using X Design versus SolidWorks. Some were using both X Design, both SolidWorks. And it just naturally happened. It was an authentic thing that unfolded. Because you know what? You're at work. You're working with your buddy all day. You're engineers. You get to go to a conference and let loose a little bit and learn some new things. And then you get to challenge each other. It's like step into the ring.
I don't know how many times
it's bragging rights,
We'd see a pair of people walking by, a pair of users, and Jason would just start heckling like, hey, who's the faster modeler? Are we going to find out? And it was just amazing. People love jumping in that ring. And even if you lost, you get to walk away with a cool T-shirt with that Model Mania Extreme logo. But if you win, you get a nice photo op holding up the belt inside the ring. Right. It's amazing.
It's a fun way to, gamify the industry and just challenge one another and push one another. And at the same time, you're learning because you have guys like Andy Barnes over your shoulder who are just SolidWorks masters.
The zebra stripe assassin, or he kind of looks like him?
He looks kind of like him.
He does.
Okay.
But just get that knowledge, and that's what it's all about. It's about sharing knowledge and in the passion for what we all do.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Do you guys have significant others? You guys are going to have a tough time returning home and turning off your personas, I think.
Yeah.
You're like vacillating, like in and out. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're going to be sick of us.
Yeah. And I know the Surface Slayer, he only shows up when there's an actual fight design ready to happen. So you don't have to worry about him coming anytime soon.
Well, watch out. If you have a Model Mania Extreme ring at your home, he might just appear.
He might
to go extreme.
I hope not. All right. Well, it's been a joy to have you guys. One last question before we show our great sponsors, SendCuts, and the quick clip there to end this segment. But Gian, if someone's looking into X-Shape, the feature app, they're like, wow, these guys can go super quick and make these awesome models. Where can they go?
You should go to solidworks.com, check out our offers for both makers, students, and professionals. We've got answers for everyone. And if you want to step into the Model Mania Extreme Ring next year at 3D Experience World, you'll have to join the conference and join in the fun.
And that's it. Let's have a quick word from SendCuts Send, and then we will hear all about new features coming in SolidWorks 2026 and other releases.
All right, well, welcome back. I am here with our skit team. I was going to say our famous skit team, but infamous skit team, maybe more appropriate. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
So if you guys were watching over our last general session, they would have seen you up on main stage, going through some demos, acting a little kooky. Mike, give us a little, maybe we have a lot of new attendees here. I'm assuming probably a lot of new viewers this year as well. There's a bit of lore maybe that goes along with the skit. It's been happening for a long time. Do you want to give us kind of a rundown of what the skit even is, where it came from, how long
Yeah,
it's
I
been
mean,
going?
it's been around for 25 years at World. It's legendary. Yeah, we've got some big shoes to fill, from the guys who've done it before us. But basically, we try to present what's coming, next in SolidWorks, that next big release. But we do it with some fun, right? We kind of just bring in some humor to it, some CAD jokes, as we like to say. Yeah. And it's been anywhere from like Bat CAD was one of my favorites.
Yep.
That one
goes back a ways.
favorite.
Back to the Feature was great.
Back to the Feature.
Yeah.
Home Alone, that was a good one. Yeah, and every year we're just tasked for another skit.
Yeah, and super fun. And it's not, I mean, it's obviously a lighthearted thing, right? But the core, the meat and potatoes of it is we always get a chance to kind of show off some of the new functionality that's coming along the way. So that is something I remember as an attendee of this event. It was always something that I look forward to so much because it's like, what's coming? I can't wait to see what's going to be new in the software, what I'm going to get my hands on. I really love the way that you guys did it this year. Obviously, throughout the year, we're now having more functionality that's coming out throughout the service packs, throughout the functional deliveries. We have actual features that are coming out throughout the year, which is a little bit different for us. Normally it's like one big drop and you get all your stuff at once. But I really love the way that you guys organized it this year, one of my favorites, because there's stuff that came out like just recently. It's new stuff for FD01, right? That suddenly I'm seeing something that's basically brand new. I'm probably don't have my hands on it yet, but I can go right back to the office and use it immediately. And then you kind of had the middle ground of here's what's coming maybe over the next year or so, and then some crazy pie in the sky stuff that we saw with some of the AI enhancements. That was really cool.
Yeah, the FD01 was a big release, so we wanted to make sure to highlight that, right? I mean, it's usable today. I think it's been out for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Do you remember when?
Week and a half.
Either way, yeah, fresh, new delivery and some great enhancements in there. So we wanted to make sure to highlight that and remind everyone that what's new is, what's coming is all about FD02, FD03, and of course, when you get into the big releases as well, we'll have those enhancements. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I was always super excited to see the skit, but now that I can see the skit and take half of those features and start using them immediately, well, that's even better. I love that. We have some of the features that we can kind of kick through if you want to do that, and we can kind of take a look at some of them. There's some really great features this year. Maybe we'll start with the FD01 stuff.
Do it.
Yeah, cool. Is there any that you want to kick off? You want to just start right from the top and we can poke through them?
See what you got. We can got.
All right.
Kind of click through them.
Great.
Simplified user interface.
Yeah.
Right. So
interesting one to start with.
Yeah, I mean, for brand new users especially, but even some casual user, you can just slim down your user interface a little bit and get the most common commands. And because over the years, right, we've added so much to SolidWorks that there's a lot there. And if you've not, if you're brand new to it, you're not going to use everything at once. So it's a good place to start.
Yeah, it works for parts, assemblies, drawings.
And drawings, yeah.
Kind of recurates that whole UI to just make it easy to find.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and it's 30 years of SolidWorks this year. Probably one of the keystones of what we do well is getting people access to the tools that they need and hiding all of the noise. The perfect addition to this, that's our interface stuff is always something that we focus a ton on, and it's something that is one of the main reasons that I love using SolidWorks is because I can tune the interface to do exactly what I want when I want, and I can get the other stuff out of my way. Love that one.
Something else really nice about that feature is that it's fully customizable as you would expect.
Yeah.
Because we're great at customizing our interfaces. We love to do that.
Yep.
So everything that you customize there is going to stick. So even if you have a simplified interface, but you have a particular workflow that you want to focus on, you can customize your interface and it'll stay there for every session of SolidWorks.
And maybe even potentially if you're setting this up for somebody else too, right? Yeah. If you've got a handful of people that are coming in that that they're just going to need those basics, you can tune that, set them on their way.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, we're talking about here something that most everyone that's used SolidWorks at some point has run into. You hit a button, you move something, and it's like everything disappears. You think it's deleted. It's not really deleted. It just went way far away from each other.
I am pixel perfect with my selections, Todd. I don't know what you're trying to imply.
Okay, everyone but you has run into this.
Fair.
And basically now SolidWorks recognizes that's happened and can easily get you back. So it's, saves time, saves that support call, all that kind of stuff. Get you back going where you're headed.
I love
to
that.
go.
Little extra smarts built in. Nothing wrong with that.
Mark, you worked on this one.
Yeah. So, if you do a lot of sheet metal design, you know that, you want to do flanges, you want to, get them out to a particular extent. But if you don't have like solid geometry or something that, you want them to go up to, maybe you have a concept, something like that, we now support you being able to do this with sketch entities. So this is perfect for just roughing things out or getting started on sheet metal design, or some of the more advanced ones that some of our customers do are really going to benefit from this. So.
Yeah, it's cool. End conditions are one of the most powerful aspects of parametric modeling. So anytime we can take advantage of more and more scenarios, I'm all for it.
So in this example here, you have it where that edge flange is just to a sketch point, and then if you modify that geometry of the sketch rectangle, or the square, everything just updates. So nice way to build in that
automatic
intelligence. It's cool.
All right. Let's take a look at what we got here.
Oh yeah, family of parts. Yeah, we have a lot of these. This is actually one of my favorite enhancements this year. I've needed this a lot in the past, I'll be honest, and I had to build these out myself. But in drawings, you can now add these tables that are the family of parts for you, which is absolutely phenomenal. So really happy that we have this one. Works great out the box. You don't really have to do anything at all except for just use it. So.
Yeah, very cool. I had Tracy Weddick at the desk here going over some display states and configurations and things like that. So works hand in hand with this new functionality. I love that. Yeah. We talked about your display state table, Mike, that you were talking about as well. Relatively new addition.
Yeah.
Another table enhancement here.
Oh, this is a big one. This is one I'm most excited about, I think, is the ability to roll up quantities in your bill of materials, right? You might have sub-assemblies, several sub-assemblies that have the same component you utilize without. So before you kind of had to do some funky workarounds, but now you have the option to flatten it all and roll total quantities up to the top level. I think this is something customers have been asking for a long time, and yeah, we've got it. It works great.
Yeah, that's great. Anytime you can add more intelligence into the tools that are extracting information from your model, it's going to save you time for sure.
Cool.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, automated drawings, generation of drawings. This is awesome.
Automated drawings.
What I really like here is this is like you can do this as a batch process. So you can see these have been a multi-select method here. So assemblies, parts, you can do them all at once. In your task pane over on the right-hand side, everything is transparent as to where they are in the process of being generated. And it creates this exactly what you see here. It's a great start, and you move a few views around. Of course, you don't have to add some dimensions and that sort of thing, of course. But it's a great place to just get started with a lot of your drawings.
I think on this one, it's worth mentioning. As we research these projects, we learn about a lot of them are incremental. Like they'll start off with an initial project, roll that out, and then they'll build on it. Assembly performance over the last 4 or 5 years was a multi-year project. This is another one of those. So what we're going to see is rolling this out now in FDO1, and then in FDO2 and into next year, they're going to be building in more algorithms, more machine learning that goes into this, and really making this robust. So play with it now. If it doesn't fit you perfectly, come back to it. It's gonna evolve and become a really big part of SolidWorks.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sean and I were talking to Karim and Steve at the desk this morning. Both ended up going down AI directions that we were talking about. What is the role of those? But we discussed in both of those that the things that humans don't need to be doing, the designer doesn't need to be doing, take away all those nitty-gritty little things that where the designer isn't adding any value here, right? So just have the computer do those things, and then the designer can come in and add value where the designer adds value. It's a great example of that, right? You don't need to be adding in all those little views. It's just tedious steps that don't need to be repeated.
One caveat on this before we move to the next enhancements is that this is going to require a connection to the platform. So make sure you're using 3DEXPERIENCE SolidWorks or UES.
Yep.
And that way you can take advantage of these really awesome technologies. So.
Yeah, great point. Great point. All right, so that was kind of the FDO1. So all of those, as a reminder, you got already, right? You got already. Yeah. Make use of them immediately. We've got 1 minute to go, so I'm going to say let's not even get into anymore. If you missed the rest of those ones that the guys showed, got to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, in the coming soon section,
live.
we get into FTO2, FTO3, and then some into 2026. So again, projects spread out throughout the year. Those updates, those big enhancements are giving you, new user-driven, user-designed enhancements really to streamline your workflows. So.
And to be clear, there's some great stuff in there.
Yeah, some cool stuff coming.
Some enhancements that I am personally extremely excited about. Yeah. So if you missed that segment on the skit, go back, check it out on our live link. You guys were on day 2 yesterday towards the end, so if you're looking for it, you'll find them there. And it was hilarious. Because you guys are hilarious.
It was hilarious, yeah.
I can say that because I wasn't part of it. It was absolutely hilarious. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show, walking through some of the stuff that everybody already has access to, which is a cool addition to the skit this year. And coming up soon, we have, what do we have coming up soon? Model Mania. We have Model Mania announcements. We've got a ton of Model Mania presents this year with Model Mania itself. We've got Model Mania Extreme. We had Model Mania, there was a simulation edition of it this year, so we've got Mania on top of Mania on top of Mania. We're some zany people. But we have winner announcements that are coming up so we can see how people did. Lots of competition going on this year. So we can compare, take a look at their notes, see how everybody did and who finished on top.
Cool.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
Talk to you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. So we talked about Model Mania Extreme. Many of you know the name Model Mania from the historic Model Mania competition that we've had over the course of decades here at Solidworks, where primarily, and I should say summarily, we have a model that contestants go into a booth, they model it, they model phase 1, they try to get it accurate, they try to get it correctly, they set the correct material, and then they have to make a change to said model. And they try to do that in the quickest time possible. We both have a user track and a reseller partner track. We've done this for years with Solidworks. And at this point in the show, we have our winners, and we have a quick clip we'd like to show you before we really dig into the Model Mania models.
In third place for our user champions is Brody DeJager from CQ Medical. If you're here, please come on up. Congratulations. In second place, Tom Smith from Victaulic. Come on up, Tom. Congratulations. You can just stand right there. And our first place user champion of 2025, the 25th anniversary of Model Mania, is Stephen Pedersen from BG Products with a time of 10 minutes and 41 seconds. Congratulations. All right, so let's go on to our reseller champions here. In third place, we have Zbigniew Elster. In second place, we have Luca Stante from Solid World. And in first place, Jacob Ames from Solid Professor with a time of 12 minutes and 53 seconds. All right, well, congratulations to you two, and congratulations to all of our other winners as well.
Congratulations once again to Tom and Jacob, who, by the way, are here. Welcome, Tom and Jacob. What's going on? Round of applause. Hey, let's clap. Yep. Got a crowd back here. And please clap in the chat. So, Tom, if you could, this is your fifth placement?
Fifth placement.
Wow.
Over the years.
You are the Model Maniac.
A third, second place, and 2 first places.
Awesome. Yes,
2012.
tell us a bit about yourself.
My name's Tom Smith. I work at Victaulic in Pennsylvania. I've been using Solidworks since 97 plus.
Wow.
So like the 95 challenge, it brought back a few memories, but it wasn't too hard. You know, and since I've been a PDM admin, I have been less and less in SolidWorks, but I'm still the go-to guru at the company when people have, you know, weird modeling questions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. At this point, 5 placements. That's insane. Congratulations again. Jacob, yeah, if you could just introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a content evangelist with Solid Professor. We're an online education platform for design, engineering, manufacturing, simulation, all of it. So this is actually my first success in Model Mania, first placement, so I'm really excited about that.
Awesome.
I haven't been to World since 2018, and in that time span, I've gotten my professional certification, my expert certification, so I've been waiting for today, and my time finally came, so
all right,
really, really happy.
Look, we just had Model Mania Extreme. You guys saw it was kind of wrestling themed. Well, I'm going to tag out, actually, and guess what? I have news. I have your models on my PC, and we're going to look at them right now. So, Tom, if you could do the honors, we could swap seats here or swap standing positions. Okay, so tell me, do you remember saving in this exact view? What were your thoughts?
Somewhat. Well, at this point, I was like, did I get everything? And I wasn't real sure. The original model, if we roll it back, I didn't do the symmetry like Jen had shown. I just drew the whole thing, and I knew the hooks. If you've seen I don't know if you're going to show the drawing. There were some hooks that come down below the center line on each side. And knowing SolidWorks a bit, let's get to a point where I knew that was the shape from the top. But knowing the way SolidWorks works, I had to cut this all up. So what I did was I just split the bejesus out of it, got rid of everything that I knew wasn't going to be copied. At this point, it was a simple move face to get that 60 degree that we needed below the center line. At that point, I threw in an axis, you know, to rotate it round around that, and hoped it was right, combined it and mirrored it, and then just had to repair my fillets that died. And then immediately go to evaluate and where is it? Mass properties, there it is, and then copy that number into the solution. And that's it. At that point, you can only hope you did everything right, that you set the material at the beginning. That was my methodology on that.
That was one. So I caught up with you. I think it was at one of the events here, and you mentioned that setting material is probably the most common culprit of an unintentional, completely avoidable loss.
It would have been 6 wins, but
wow.
Schneider had told me like you forgot the material.
That's the one. That's the one that sticks with you.
Yeah,
the one that got
absolutely.
away.
So I did that for.
Well, awesome. Jacob, just before we sort of tag you in here,
sure.
I wanted to ask you, having reviewed Tom's model, is there anything that sticks out to you in terms of his approach or something you would have thought to do? Or
We had a very similar approach. I think you're probably a much faster modeler than me in general, but I love the use of the axis.
Yeah, I thought
the axis makes a big difference because that's taking advantage of symmetry in some ways too, giving you the opportunity to use those patterns. So I think we have a lot of similarities. I'm trying to remember still what I even did. I felt like I blacked out for 20 minutes.
You do black out.
We'll see how similar they actually were. Yeah, very good job.
All right, well, let's play musical standing positions here. We'll pull up. Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at what
nice work.
Jacob did here. We have his model open, so we'll switch over to it. I'll do a quick Control Tab, as is.
Sure. So this is the final position?
Yeah, I haven't touched it. Trust me.
Boy, bringing back some bad memories here. All right, let's see what we started with. So I do recall I wanted, obviously, to use nested contours. Nested contours, big performance advantage here, being able to create the cuts and avoid having to create an additional cut feature, essentially. The cut feature following that, using as many offset tools as possible, trying to avoid extra dimensions. I did take advantage of symmetry by using some mirror features, but not nearly as much as Jen showed that we could. So I think for next year, I'll be looking for more symmetry opportunities wherever I can. Couple cuts. These were pretty straightforward, but after talking to some of my colleagues, I know there was some missteps with this cut feature here that some people were interpreting it as a sweep. And so I managed to clock that as a cut. The axis being a big piece here to then use that circular pattern. And I have to thank SolidWorks Essentials for this. There's a practice exercise where we use a playing die, and we have to use a circular pattern to rotate the die cutout features, and I was remembering that as this was happening. So jumping forward here, using some additional mirroring, and this cut is where panic mode sets in. If we go into just real quick, you can see I actually used a sketch on the middle plane and then had to do a quick offset. And I'm trying to fight for as much time as possible, so it gets a little dirty there. But then we finish it up, adjust the fillets like Tom said. This is always the scary part, because one missed edge can really throw off your model. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. So very cool.
Isn't it funny that the Model Mania techniques are so bad for production?
Yeah,
they
that's
really
the
are.
first thing I was thinking too. Is like the design intent in phase 1 so incredibly important, and then design intent in phase 2 out the window. You just want to get it done as quickly as you can. So yeah, really happy with that.
It's quite interesting, Tom. You mentioned right where you are, Victaulic. You're the go-to, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm the guru, the wizard. I've been called other names.
So you really look at hold up your badge roll there, please. I mean, you can call Tom, an influencer, presenter, a lot of different names. But
champion.
yeah, so it's a champion, of course. But it's really interesting you mentioned that, right? Because if you're modeling for speed and accuracy and you're trying to get through a competition, you might do something a certain way, and that's a certain part of your brain. You kind of shift into that mode where you can relate Jacob.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, you're kind of thinking in production, maybe I wouldn't do it exactly this way. But once again, as you mentioned, knowing how to do things maybe in some goofy ways at times, but just knowing how to solve problems. That's the mark of a real master modeler, right?
Yeah, to make the initial models, you get ideas out there, and then, of course, you refine the real ones later, that you're actually going to make. But
I wanted to ask you the same question that I asked Jacob about your model. Was there anything in terms of what he did that you're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to do that, or I tried that, or I went down that route and then I aborted? Any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did notice the cut to make the 60-degree thing. The radius, like that would have scared me because I didn't know if that radius was going to follow the round or.
Yeah.
Because it looked, you know, I took that as looking at straight down. That's a half round. I'm going to make that first, and then when you just cut straight into the back wall and then maybe put a fillet on it later, you know, is it going to match perfectly? And it's tricks like that where you can win or lose these.
And it was a little scary. So when I added that fillet and the preview was off, and I thought it was over. I selected an edge, a preview didn't come up, and I was about ready to walk out of the booth. So I lucked out, turned the preview on, and all was well.
Awesome. Well, I admire both of you guys. Once again, round of applause
Thank you.
For these two, Tom and Jacob, in the chat as well. Just wanted to give a quick plug as we end up the segment here. You can access all of the Model Mania models in terms of how they were made. I know many people here practice. Many teachers refer to the Model Manias of the past as models that students should try on. Hey, I'm going to give you a general session. So we are just about ready to get started there with the community-centric wrap here for 3D Experience World 2025. And hey, let's take a look. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Tracy Wilson.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon, why thank you. Oh, you guys are fired up this afternoon, I love it. Well, welcome to the closing general session here at 3D Experience World 2025. I hope you had a fantastic week, leveraging up your skill sets, connecting with your old friends, meeting some new friends. I hope you had fun last night at the party on the plaza. And yes, I know you did. Now listen, we know you're all smart, but who knew you could sing and dance so well? Incredible. Well, an important aspect of 3D Experience World is celebrating a passionate community. And who better to talk about the amazing people who are educating and inspiring others than today's first speaker. So please welcome to the stage, Vice President of Strategy and Community, Sucha Ching.
Guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. How's everybody doing? Well, amazing. I love the energy. Welcome to the final day of 3D Experience World, the final session, the plenary. Over the past few days, we have celebrated innovation, collaboration, and creativity within this incredible SolidWorks community. So today, we bring together stories of impact and inspiration that demonstrate how our community is transforming lives and shaping the future. Joining me are three remarkable guests whose work reflect the heart of this community. Collectively, they showcase innovation, fabrication, and everything in between. So please welcome Joyce Sidopoulos of Mass Robotics. Joyce. How are you? Charles Barrett of Field Ready. Charles. Turn around, turn around. I want to...
Field Ready. Thank you, Sucha.
And, okay, and Luciana Bataldi of the Fab Foundation, who's with Chinlu Lama from SolidWorks to talk about Fab in a Box. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Chinlu and Luciano. Come on in. So let's get started. So, I want to talk about mass robotics with you, Joyce, but before we do that, I saw this picture on your LinkedIn, so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I love this photo. It really shows a lot about me as a person, but also mass robotics mission to really educate and build the future innovators. So in this picture, we have 4 cohorts of Jumpstart girls, and Jumpstart is a program that brings together diverse women and kind of builds an inclusive workforce of confident women in tech. And so this program teaches all kinds of technical skills that you need in the robotics field, which includes design, fabrication, circuits, and of course, SolidWorks. So the Dassault Foundation, or La Foundation Dassault Systems, has been supporting this program for 5 years. We've had almost 100 girls come through the program. And really at the core, and what started this whole thing, was SolidWorks, and that's the first thing these girls learn. So when they graduate, they're still not in college, but a lot of them become SolidWorks certified. So it's a great foundation. And I have to do a shout out to Rachel Naum, who we've been working with for 5 years. She really helped build this. And these pictures are an annual event we host, which is a Women in Robotics Gala. And we celebrate the achievements of women in robotics. And the girls all get invited, and they come to the stage, and they talk about the impact the program has had.
Amazing, the power of women in engineering. We see that here. Joyce, let's talk about mass robotics. How it is helping startups.
Yeah, so we are the world's largest independent robotics hub, really dedicated to accelerating robotics technology, its adoption, its commercialization. And so our mission is to really build the next generation of successful robotics and physical AI companies. And we do this by providing them all the resources they need to prototype, build, develop, scale their actual products and solutions. So we provide them a workspace that's shared and shared resources as far as mechanical tools to be able to build CNC machine, laser cutter, water jet. We also, of course, provide them Solidworks, which they all use because in robotics, as you know, it's not the first product that you build, it's an iteration of that product. So Solidworks.
They all want SolidWorks in robotics, absolutely. So Joyce, it's so good to have organizations like Mass Robotics who are promoting innovation and the startup community. Now, Charles, for you, you're a little more focused on actual fabrication. So tell us a little bit more about Field Ready and your mission.
Thank you, Suchit. So Field Ready is a global humanitarian organization. Our mission is to save lives, reduce suffering, and increase resilience. How do we do that? We design and fabricate locally critical items that are needed for disaster and humanitarian needs. And we teach others how to make them. Hence our tagline, humanitarian supplies made in the field. So an example that I can show you is back home from the Philippines. We responded in a typhoon with solar charging kits. And we made this with local available items like a toolbox or a car charger just to be able to build this item. And we've deployed this to local island communities and reached thousands of people. And a social enterprise has been working on this to reach more communities as well. And beyond that, we have engineered thousands of products and impacted hundreds of thousands of communities. And this is through also with the help of making these designs through SolidWorks.
Designs through SolidWorks again. So now talking about innovation and fabrication, Luciano, tell us about how Fab in a Box is transforming access to design and fabrication in education. And we have a large contingent of education here, so they'll love to hear.
Absolutely, Suchit. Yeah, so I really feel that Fab in a Box is right at that intersection between fabrication, innovation, and education. But it also reflects a lot of the lessons that we've learned over the past 15 years, working closely with partners like Mass Robotics, like Field Ready, and many others across our global network of fabrication labs, which is now over 3,000 strong, as we call them Fab Labs, right, for short. So in that time, we've really seen the transformational power that hands-on learning can have partnered with access to fabrication facilities, even if they don't necessarily have to be advanced manufacturing facilities, but even basic manufacturing facilities, really provide learners of all ages with the ability to learn in different ways, as well as empowering communities, right? As Charles has just showed us, empowering communities to take on grassroots innovation and become more resilient in the process. So our core mission at the Fab Foundation is to spread access to digital fabrication worldwide, and Fab in a Box is very much aligned with that. So our goal here was to come up with what we consider to be the MVP, the minimum viable product, and the lowest possible cost and the easiest solution to deploy anywhere in the world. So to do that and to do it at a price that is affordable, we're really hoping for that $10,000 number, and we're really happy to report that we're still on track for that. So excited about the impact we'll make.
What do you think, guys? Isn't Fab in a Box an amazing concept? What we're doing now, bringing to the market. So Charles, talking about fabrication, of course, Field Ready is doing a lot of things, and specifically the mobile makerspace which you're making, especially to help remote communities, especially in South Pacific. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure, Suchit. So one of the reasons why we built the mobile makerspace came from the idea of doing rapid repairs in communities. These are examples of just a simple pipe fitting that would effectively help people reach water. So if we can just use our digital fabrication tools to fix these things and make them locally, then we can solve these solutions. So we've done these in Nepal, South Sudan, and in the Pacific, where we've made the mobile makerspace. So the mobile makerspace houses all of these tools and equipment that are matching with all the repair needs that we've looked at from many communities. With the use of SolidWorks to design and simulate, this also has helped us to look at it structurally made. So as I mentioned, it houses the 3D printers, a guttering machine that could make rainwater harvesting accessible, and some other manual tools as well. All of these are made locally in Fiji. In the future, we're going to make 3 more in countries like Samoa, Solomon Islands, and Vanuatu. And of course, we're gonna look at other places that we could work with and some support from anyone here. So also we're excited to see some of the technologies have been mentioned for the past 2 days to integrate into some of our product development process. And thank you, Solidworks, for that. So at the end of this, these are our impact. We reduce the cost for 50% in some of the supply chain. Procurement becomes lesser, and we're also supporting local livelihood.
That is amazing, and yes, definitely of course.
Thank you.
So I know you mentioned the Gen 7. We are very proud that it'll be able to help you in what you are trying to do. It's such a great use of tech for innovation. Joyce, which startup at Mass Robotics comes to your mind? Startup, cool?
Okay, so I did bring a little show and tell, but
Okay.
before I do that, we're often asked, like, pick your favorite startup, which all the startups are special, they're all unique, you really can't pick one. We have about 100 startups in our space, so it's hard to pick one. But a lot of them are working on assistive technology and age tech, which is really very impactful for the people that it's affecting. So one person is working on a intelligent walking stick, which is a robotic stick for the blind. Another is working on a tactile hand for the deaf-blind to help them communicate. Another was working on a robotic wheelchair. And so these are all really impactful because they make people mobile and independent. But there is one cool one, which I brought a little show and tell for. This is called the Dronut. Okay, it looks like a donut. It's got a ducted fan inside. It's actually a drone. And it has little flaps that kind of push the air around to help it fly inside. So it's for indoor safe use. So I met the guys about 6 or 7 years ago, and this was their product. And as many of you know, the demands of your customers, you're going to have many iterations before you have that MVP, that mean viable product. So this was their first iteration. And then they came out with this one, which was their next iteration, which the demand of the customer was more payload, another camera. They want it to be in the air longer, so it needed a bigger battery. So what you see flying here in the video is their latest, and you see how it's really easy to catch in the guy's hand. But it's gone through many iterations. So this took a lot of SolidWorks iterations.
Absolutely, a lot of SolidWorks iterations, right? Of course, absolutely. Look, we can't underestimate the importance of incubators and the impact we as a community can have around the world. Fab in a Box, Chinlu, will turn to you, could be a significant part of that. So tell us more about the curriculum and what we do.
What's built in it. So like the drone nuts and myself, we want to pack a lot of awesome stuff in a tiny package. So in these units, we wanted to include the most popular fabrication devices such as 3D printers, laser cutters, vinyl cutters, and in it, it also includes the possibility of reconfiguring these walls and components however you like to address people of all sizes, as well as individuals who have various needs, accessibility needs. It also includes a laptop that connects to all of these devices, running, of course, SolidWorks XDesign and XShape. There are also additional accounts that could be run on any device that can connect to the internet, like a Chromebook or a tablet. So it's just a very powerful set of tools. In addition, within the world of the platform, there will be a lot of, actually, the SolidWorks team from R&D has worked with Fab Foundation to create a few fun, exciting project lessons that you can go through. It includes all sorts of instructions, step by step. For those who are just starting out, it also includes a 3D model that you can go in and change parameters and adjust it to however you like so that it feels like something that's special to you. Also, lastly, included in all of the lesson plans, there are these quick tips. There are very short videos that help all of these young learners to get started on their making journey.
Amazing. So, Luciano, right, what's next for Fab in a Box? And you have this amazing SolidWorks community. How can we help you?
Absolutely, Citra. Well, first of all, before I ask for anything else, I'd just like to thank you for all the support that we've already gotten, right, in the past. Obviously from you, Citra, from your team, from R&D, but also La Fondation and the entire Solidworks community. So some of you may remember version 1 that we brought over last year. We got a lot of feedback from you already, and that's what allowed us to bring back version 2 this year, and the response has been amazing. So next steps for us are this spring. We're going to be launching or field testing. So we're very, very close. We've gotten a lot of great improvements, and now we want to get it in the hands of kids. We all know they are the best destructive testers anywhere. And then from there, we're looking for the second half of this year to start delivering the first batch of units that are going to go out there into the world. And so please scan the QR code on the screen. Get in touch with us and the team. We're really excited to hear from you. In particular, we're excited to hear from sites that might be interested in being part of that testing. So that includes obviously schools, but also informal learning spaces. We're also interested in organizations that might be interested in adding their equipment or sort of coming on board into the project. It's a modular system, as Chinlu demonstrated and explained to us. So it's meant to grow along as we evolve it. And so. I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's amazing. So please scan and help us out here. So Joyce, thank you. Charles, thank you. Luciano, thank you. Chinlu, thank you for giving us this amazing introduction on all these projects. Thanks. Chinlu, you stay back for a second.
Yes.
Thank you. So we want to showcase, Chinlu and I want to showcase something incredible happening right here at 3DEXPERIENCE World in the Maker Zone. Throughout this event, attendees have been contributing to a community build.
Yes,
right,
so exactly. To celebrate the spirit of our maker community, we invited all of the attendees to come over to the Maker Zone and basically practice your creativity skills, work with leather, air dry clay, metal, and resin to create a little feather that would go on this wing. And this amazing structure was basically a collaboration work between some amazing fabricators. We have teams from the Bowhead Corporation, Orbital FX. We have a mad scientist workshop. Special shout out to Jade Wilson, who actually, sorry Jade, you can change your name for me if you like. But Jade was really responsible for doing a lot of the air clay art, and also lastly, Re3D were printing these amazing large feathers. So I invite all of you, if you haven't had a chance to see this amazing set of wings, we've moved it out into the hashtag where the photo apps are. Please stop by before you rush off to the airport and get some really awesome photos. As you can see, Rachel's like our angel. So have fun with it. And it was a pleasure for you all to have enjoyed this and left a beautiful part of yourself with us at this conference.
Well, Chinlu, thank you. You are always amazing. You've been an amazing part right here at Solidworks supporting the makers, right?
Yes,
so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Chinlu. So now I want to do a quick announcement. This is pretty big, especially for our students sitting right there on my left. So I'm thrilled to announce a brand new initiative that empowers the workforce of the future, Solidworks Skillforce. Skillforce is an innovative program designed to provide free Solidworks commercial licenses to students participating in internships and co-ops for the duration of their program. This initiative removes software cost barriers for students and gives them access to industry standard tools, helping them, of course, gain valuable real-world experience. Now, Skillforce is just not just for the benefits of the students. It also helps companies tap into this pipeline of skilled talent. Skillforce program will be available to eligible students and companies starting this April, a date that coincides with the birthday of great Leonardo da Vinci, one of the history's greatest innovators. So students, and by the way, students, can I get a little applause for the students? I think if you guys can stand up, right up there with the lights. So students, if you are looking to launch your career in engineering and design, visit the SolidWorks website to learn more and apply the Skillforce program. Together, let's build the future. Thank you. In 2024, the SolidWorks community came together with unparalleled passion, creativity, and collaboration, proving that innovation thrives when minds unite to design a better future. The SolidWorks User Group Network and the SolidWorks Champion programs are where you can find the most passionate SolidWorks users. So now let's turn our attention to two individuals who have been instrumental in connecting and energizing our community, this SolidWorks community. So please welcome Dan Wagner, our SolidWorks User Group Manager, and also Matthew Clegg, our SolidWorks Champions Program Manager. Guys, come up.
Everybody. What's up, Suja?
They love you guys here, right?
Hey, that's right. Thank you.
Well,
What's up, everybody? Jeez.
We love, you know, I always comment on Matthew's glasses, the Bono glasses, but today he's wearing his red tie, right? So Dan, let's get started. So what's going on with the SolidWorks User Group Network?
Yeah, for sure, Suchit. So last year, another huge year for Swagen. These folks are amazing. We had 185 active groups throughout the world in 64 countries. We had 61 new groups last year, and many of these awesome people are sitting right here today, which is just fantastic.
Now, Dan, if you had to choose, what are a few of your favorite Swagen events from last year?
Tough, very tough, but things like Iron Swug, the West Michigan Summit, Slug Me, the Data Management Summit, these were like some of our major events last year. So do you remember Slug Me 9? We designed and built an electric drift cart in Waltham.
Now, Suchit, I heard you and a few of our SolidWorks celebrities somewhere over there drifted these electric drift carts around Waltham. Let's show the people what we did.
Of course. Well, that's
awesome.
For us, I think it was an amazing experience. Now, I think I was going the fastest, even though GP and Manish, they always think otherwise, but I think I was going the fastest.
Yeah.
No. So Dan, in keeping with the tradition, let's give out some Swagen awards.
Yes, sir. We saved two very special awards for today. So the Michelle Pillars Community Award, let's do that one first. This is reserved for someone who has had a lifetime, long-term impact on Swagen. It's more of a lifetime achievement award. This year, we'd like to announce that Kirby Downey from London Swag is our Michelle Pillars Community Award. Good job, Kirby. Awesome. The Wayne Tiffany User Group Leader of the Year Award is reserved for someone who had a particularly profound impact on the SolidWorks User Group Network within that year. And we'd like to announce that for 2024, that was Stephanie Haina from New York City Swag. Congrats, Stephanie.
So Dan, thank you. Now let's turn to my good friend Matthew Clegg to learn a little bit about SolidWorks Champions program.
Well, thank you, Suchit. In a world of countless communities, the SolidWorks Champions program stands apart. We're more than just SolidWorks super fans, we're relentless innovators. Imagine that one colleague who knows just about every SolidWorks feature and won't rest until you do too. Now picture 400 of them from 52 countries, kind of a big deal.
But what can you do with 400 champions?
My favorite example, our last design challenge was based on the Fibonacci sequence. Our designs started in SolidWorks, were rendered in a cloud with XStudio, and we finally shared all of our designs on SolidWorks social media to 2 million followers. Throughout this process, we worked directly with the product and R&D teams at 3DEXPERIENCE and provided expert feedback on how to refine the software. Throughout our week together, we've explored many facets of artificial intelligence and how it continues to shape our future, but let's not forget that human intelligence will remain as the bridge between AI, SolidWorks, both new and legacy engineering data. This human intelligence has been applied to industry over many years, which forms knowledge and know-how.
4263, is that the last 4 digits of Sucha's phone number?
I'll have to check out when we get back there, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's also not part of the Fibonacci sequence, or even the number of all of us here today. This number is the combined years of SolidWorks experience from 400 champions, 201 of whom are CSWEs. 4,263 years. So let's tighten our focus a little bit to an individual whose use of SolidWorks has made a transformative business impact well beyond his engineering team. His level of organization is unmatched. His level of creative genius with complex workflows and elegant design, inconceivable.
This sounds pretty epic, kind of like Champion of the Year epic.
Indeed. This gentleman hails from Canada, and he's fluent in 4 dialects of SolidWorks, 3D CAD, connected X-Shape and X-Design.
We're starting to hone in over here somewhere, but all right, Matt.
Okay.
Come on.
The 2024 SolidWorks Champion of the Year is Sanket Patil.
Sanket.
No. Surprise.
So,
Congratulations, Sanket.
I think Matt, he did not know, right? He looks pretty surprised.
I think that's a real reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome. Matt, now that we've kind of honored these amazing people that are here with us today, these amazing people that contribute to our communities, let's finish with some big announcements here. So I'm really excited to announce that, powered by AI, for the very first time, we have one place where everybody in the world can go to find every user group meeting, every user group, all under one place. We've invested with a whole new website for Swaggin, and you can go to community.swaggin.org right now to see it for yourself. This is big for Swaggin. We're really excited.
But wait, there's more. In 2025, SolidWorks champions will also embrace our new AI-powered community experience, making virtual meetings smoother and more efficient than ever.
Absolutely. Whether you're here joining us in person or if you're watching us remotely, we really appreciate the support. Here's to another year, collaboration, community, innovation, and electric drift carts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan and Matt, for those updates.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
After you.
Oh, thanks, man.
So before we wrap up, let's take a moment to celebrate our incredible SolidWorks certified users. We are nearing a huge milestone. Well, 1 million certified users. We are counting towards it with over 900,000 certified users right now. So let's give a big round of applause to all those who have earned their SolidWorks certification and continue to push the boundaries of design and engineering. Big applause, guys. A lot of you are in here. So from innovative startups to humanitarian efforts, the SolidWorks community embodies the spirit of collaboration and progress. The power of the generative economy, AI, virtual twins will enable us to design, simulate, and create with greater impact than ever before. So thank you for being part of this journey. Let's continue to innovate, inspire, and make a difference. Thank you. And as we say, just one more thing. Take a look.
Hello, everybody. Me again. Before I start on this section, for the records, Suchit was not the fastest at all. And I have Manish here that can testify. Right, Manish? Where are you? I can't see. But I think it was a tie between you and me, right? But definitely, Suchit was not the fastest. Was the most dangerous, that's for sure. Anyway, as Suchit said, yes, we have one more thing, actually. We have an amazing piece of news. You probably have heard the big announcement yesterday that Dassault Systèmes has partnered with Apple to integrate Vision Pro natively into the Gen 7 solution, and is going to be available to all SolidWorks users. How amazing is this, right? Yeah? That's a combination of two big brands, isn't it? Because our amazing community, by champions, we love you. Our fantastic community is always looking for something more powerful to help them innovate even better. Now, we all live, as you know, multidimensional lives. Our work, however, is only visible on flat screen for the most part. We have to wait until our ideas are realized to really grasp them fully with all our senses, right? But now, we are able to experience our designs more completely, more fully. Every product built with SolidWorks can be experienced in a specially enabled environment with no special skills required, no wasted time, as simple as that. Now, very easily, immerse yourself in your design with what we call sense computing. Let's see some examples. Product designers, as you can see in the video, can collaborate virtually with users located anywhere in the world, demonstrate how requirements are met with realistic-looking geometry and materials, real-life experience. And also with access to science-based simulation, kinematics, and spatial models. Now, process designer can also now virtually work with maintenance engineers to plan early for their operations. This improves safety on the production lines and shortens the mean time to repair. Another example, field engineers can virtually practice procedures without interrupting equipment operations. This is very important. So they can recover more rapidly from incidents with the help of experts. All of this is possible as the result of the deep engineering level collaboration between Dassault Systèmes and Apple, which has enabled us to bring together the best of both platforms to deliver truly magical experiences. Yesterday, our CEO, Pascal Dalloz, CEO of Dassault Systèmes, and Mike Rockwell, which is the Vice President of Vision Product Group at Apple, announced our shared ambition. Let's have a look.
So let's talk about what makes Apple Vision Pro perfect for what we are doing together. You know, we have to make the experience incredibly simply, easy, intuitive. And what we did to bring Apple legendary simplicity to Apple Vision Pro is, my view, unique on the market. Could you tell us more?
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, the products in this space have been generally pretty technical. They required training and a lot of effort. And we set out to create something that was as simple to use as your phone. And I think we achieved that. It's really the ability to combine the virtual with the digital and with an entirely new, simple way to do the interface. So if you look at it, we've done this before. With the mouse, with the Mac originally, and then multi-touch with the phone. And we created a new operating system for Apple Vision Pro that simply uses your hands your eyes, and your voice to control it. There are no controllers, it's incredibly simple to use, and it has a similar foundation to macOS and iOS, so folks are instantly able to use Vision Pro within just a minute of actually picking up the device. Well, I think what you've done is really take something that's been complicated, where you had to export 3D CAD files into special content creation software or game engines. There's lots of time and effort and cost to do that. And then by the time that you got it into a system to visualize, the design had changed. And so what you've done is made it simple to be able to access the original CAD models, and that's really a game changer.
Very good. Interesting, eh? Now, Mike Rockwell, as you can see in the picture, was also joined on stage by Porsche from the Volkswagen Group and Rivian, the electric truck company, to emphasize the importance of combining the power of the platform with special computing capabilities of the Apple Vision Pro device. We believe it's a totally new way of working for our customers. It's that simple. Special computing for Solidworks will be released in the summer of 2025. And if you own an Apple Vision Pro, you can start reimagining your home with Home by Me reality that is available today in the App Store. Now, welcome to the new era of sense computing, part of Gen 7. We are really unlocking the next dimension for all of you. I'll be back.
Well done. Thank you so much, GP. That's great news, very exciting. Now I can use Home by Me to remodel my apartment before I buy furniture. Very cool. And the platform just becomes even more interesting for SolidWorks users. Fantastic. I am always so grateful to spend so much time with all of you. I am grateful to have been back here again this year at 3D Experience World. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an unbelievable week. Yes, thank you. And with that, as always, we have made some great highlights for you. So let's take a look. Welcome to another edition of 3D Experience World. Yeah, that's right.
Your enthusiasm, your support is fueling our imagination. We are ready to change the game once again.
We are going to paint Houston red today.
I have a personal connection with you guys. Looks, I am a SolidWorks lover. Really, I am.
This community is very welcoming and open to first-timers and newcomers.
People are very willing to mentor you.
There is a very passionate community around this suite of products.
You are at the heart of this event, a vibrant community of over 8 million, yes, over 8 million designers, engineers, students, makers, and entrepreneurs.
This takes 2 minutes, and using SolidWorks, we're getting it down to a minute and a half.
This meeting is all about really building stuff, not just computing, not just doing AI, but making physical things.
It's not all about being women or men or how you identify. It is about learning more, adding value, being innovative.
We've got users in here battling using SolidWorks to design.
This dress basically is designed in SolidWorks.
We're here with MIF to show off the open source chair that we're making.
We designed the chassis with using SolidWorks from the ground up.
SolidWorks is the gold standard.
Welcome to day 2.
Every day, you create, innovate, and solve problems.
3D Experience Work Simulation
empowers SolidWorks users.
You're able to easily design, develop, share across different teams, communicating important changes.
It's game-changing, it's cultural changing.
Great stuff on the horizon.
This is the power of this community. Your work shapes history, connects us all, and drives the progress.
30 years of SolidWorks, and we are still dreaming very big, aren't we? We are just at the beginning of what we can do together. Yoo-hoo! I know. Here again, I can't let go of the stage, I have to admit it. I'm doing a victory lap. Look at this plate, look at this belt, it's beautiful. Now you may wonder, why am I doing a victory lap? I didn't win anything. This was the prize of one of our traditions that has evolved into the next stage. It was the Model Media Extreme. I was told that the fight to win this prize has gone to the next level, and it has become extreme. So it's a gruesome fight, virtually speaking, of course. And the winner was Jason Paul, one of our champions. I'm also told that he was the one that designed and manufactures this plate. So I think there is something fishy here. But anyway, by doing this, he won by using X-Shape, one of our amazing SolidWorks products. And by doing this, probably he practiced and was able to win. Very good job, Jason. Yes, very good. An applause for Jason. Very good job. Now, I was challenged backstage to go in the cage next year, to go in the extreme fight. And I was told that Manish should be there as well. I took the challenge. Manish, will you be in the cage next year? You will? OK, very good. Deal. So I'm already preparing you for what's going to happen next year. Yes, we are going to have the next edition here in this beautiful convention center in 2026. And I promise it's going to be an even more amazing edition of our world event. Now, why am I taking a victory lap? Because I feel very happy. This anniversary, the 30th anniversary, has fully energized me. And I realized that SolidWorks is 30 years young, and despite its young age and inexperience, is becoming even more interesting, more powerful, more deeply reaching into the lives of all our community, all our innovators, all our champions. So SolidWorks is 30 years young, and I have the full belief, the full conviction that we are just at the beginning. Do you believe it? Very good. Very good. Yeah, because I think I want to go on with this message. SolidWorks is 30 years young, and we are truly just at the beginning. The amount of ideas, of innovation, of inspiration that everybody put it on stage is just overwhelming. Manish and teams can't stop fueling new ideas and making this product wider and broader for all of you. And our champions are here to illustrate it at every step of our progress. But of course, this is the time to wrap up. All things have to come to an end. But the end is the beginning of our preparation for the next world. Yes, it is always bittersweet to wrap up. It is bitter because we are ending an amazing experience. But it is sweet because we are already preparing for the next one. And also because I feel that this event was very successful. I feel it from the stage, spending time with all of you, spending time with our champions, with our partners. I feel that we are entering a new era of energy, of brain power, of innovation leadership. okay? And having here, in addition to Manish, the CEO of Dassault Systèmes, Pascal Dalloz, has given us the full confidence this is going to happen, because the team is just powerful and the community is even more powerful. Now, to make events like this requires a lot of work of many people, requires you coming here, supporting us. And I would like to thank some of them. It's impossible to thank all the people that participated with passion and hard work, but some of them deserve a special shout out. So let me start with Kristen Wilson of Solidworks Marketing. And of course, her amazing team, okay? And among them, one in particular merits a shout out is Brenda Monahan. She really owned this event with passion, intelligence, and competence. I would like to also mention Byron Connell of the Dassault Systèmes event team. Byron, thank you. Your attention to detail, your dedication, your support is invaluable. Of course, Tracy Wilson. What would be world without Tracy, okay? I can assure you that she will be here with us for many, many more editions. And last but not least, our partners for so many years, the Kramer Production Company. A big applause to Rich Sturcio and his amazing team. Okay, it is really time to close now. I show you again this beautiful belt. I do another victory lap because we really achieved a lot. And of course, we start the preparation now to see you again at World here in Houston in 2026. I promise you it will be even more energizing, passionate, and inspiring. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, you can't do that to me. It's 10 to day 3. Welcome
It's
back.
day 3. Who should start?
False start. Welcome back to Live at 3D Experience World 2025.
Yes.
I have to be careful because we just heard about 3D Experience World 2026.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
But thank you for sticking with us, not just today with our primarily community-focused day here on day 3, but also with day 2 with R&D, the great tech session we had at the desk, and day 1 where you really get the full experience of what it was like, as much as we can show you, of course, virtually, what it is like here, the sights, the sounds, the passion of our community, all of you at 3D Experience World. I am joined for the last time this year.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
We'll talk about live streams later with Jesse,
Okay.
but probably the last time the 3 of us are on a live stream.
This year.
Yeah, Tracy
This
Wilson, Jesse Sprague,
Yes.
thank you for joining me once again.
Oh my gosh, well,
Our
thank
pleasure.
you for having me. You know, it's always such a pleasure that I get to come join you on the live desk because like we said, we do have different perspectives of what happens throughout the conference. Of course, I'm up on main stage. I see the people I get their like jitters before and after. But then also, we have different experience kind of within the community. But what we like to do on this day is we like to say, what's our top 5? What's our top 5? And a lot of times, they're the same top 5 or similar highlights. But what's our top 5 on live? What's our big takeaways from this week? What was the most fun and exciting? And narrowing that down is almost impossible.
It can be tough. Yeah, can be tough for sure.
It can be really tough. So I'm not even sure where if we want to go in any particular order, what to begin. Of course, we did just come from day 3, the afternoon general session.
That was tremendous. Yeah, I mean, that was actually one of the facets of, and usually the way that I do this, full disclosure, is just really what stuck out to me as an attendee.
Yes.
It's kind of what I reserve, you know. So Sanket Patel of Bowhead, he won the Solidworks Champion of the Year award. So we have a very special connection with Sanket. He is an engineer at Bowhead Corporation. Who you've probably seen at several 3D Experience Worlds, Solidworks Worlds as well. So kind of go way back, Bowhead Corp does. But yeah, we see what he does on a monthly, weekly basis, you know, contributing his knowledge share. He presented several times at this event. He's always showing up, always happy to answer questions, and he has a great attitude. So just to see people that you know get you know, in front of their peers as well, get acknowledged for the great people that they are. It's very heartwarming. I think that's what this community is all about.
I like that. That's good.
It was on my list. I agree wholeheartedly. Yep, that was really nice to see. We talked to Bowhead when we were in the playground, but he wasn't there because he was been running around this conference presenting,
awards,
and
being
doing
awesome.
doing exactly what you said. So I was thrilled.
It's
to
always
see his
exciting.
face on the screen.
Yeah, and it's exciting too. Some people know that they're getting awards or they know that they're getting recognition,
Sure.
but not everybody does.
That was
they might have been
great.
told like, "Hey, you're going to make sure you're here. You're going to," and then it was genuine joy.
Yeah.
It was genuine, and it was
I
exciting.
rewound it on my phone and I watched
Did
it
you
again.
really?
I did.
Oh,
I
that's
went over to
fun.
the corner and I watched again.
That's a fun way to get to do
Yeah.
that. Well, we did have a lot of amazing things happening today and throughout, and I guess we could talk about Karim Rashid. And I know you've got to speak with him, and just because we just came off of the heels of our 3rd general session for this, and here he is speaking right now, and I gotta tell you, I wrote notes and notes and notes and notes while he was speaking. There were so many quotes and so many things that he said that really were for anyone who is a creative in any way. And like he talked about, everyone is creative. And the key is, how do you use your creativity to make a difference in the world? How do you use your creativity to help society, to further humanity? And another thing that he said that I thought was really fascinating and very important was, everyone has ideas. But do you manifest your ideas? Do you actually go through with your ideas? We all have ideas.
Yeah.
But following through on those ideas is what really counts. And he talked about, now we have the tools, and you have the tools to follow through on those ideas.
Yeah, I was impressed with that too. In fact, Sean and Ian and I were standing here as we were watching on the feed, and we were saying exactly that. I'm always impressed by people who have an idea and have the confidence to just figure out how it's going to happen. And he's such a perfect example of that.
Yes.
Like, I really appreciate how he has a wild mind for design.
Yes.
But then he's so grounded in, okay, how are we going to actually make this? We're going to set up a machining system to do this and figure out how to actually make the thing and there it is in real life now.
Yes.
He's taken it from in here and gotten it out, which is what all of our users love to do. We had so much fun talking with them. We had made it through our 15 I literally hadn't even looked at the clock, I don't think. I looked up, and I think all three of us were like, uh-oh, we're out of time. Like, we could do this for another 2 hours.
He's a genuine design. I mean, I think all of you who listened, not only his interview here at the live desk to start off the stream today, but also, of course, who saw his keynote, he's a true design historian.
Yes.
And even before we started rolling the cameras, we were talking. He was very curious about asking us about some of the solutions that you all probably know very well at this point. Solutions like X-Shape, solutions like X-Generative Design, which are able to label algorithmic patterns on top of surfaces. And so, as a student of history, he's just someone who's very naturally curious, and it also involves learning new technologies. So that was a really awesome moment.
Yeah.
That was a favorite moment of mine for sure.
Well, and one of the things also that kind of like segues into another thing that I think was a favorite is that he talked about how he used SolidWorks 1995.
Yeah. Yep.
And not only did he use it, but he actually brought it to some of the institutions that he was studying at and some of the schools that he worked at, that he brought SolidWorks.
I had no idea until we started talking to him.
I didn't know
this
they
morning.
did.
Right? So I thought that was interesting for him to say, like, yes, I used SolidWorks 1995. Because as we know, so we had a wall in the playground that talks about the history of SolidWorks, and there also was an opportunity for different people to try out SolidWorks 1995 and to see how they did. Now, did you both do it? Did you get your hand at it?
I
Were you
played
able
with it
to?
a little bit, just a little bit, but it was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. The time travel booth here was really
Yes,
something.
that was so fun.
Yeah. They got that. We were making a joke about the lava lamp. Like, if it was a really, really old lava lamp, like
Yes.
a while from the 90s. We're like,
that's the book I picked up.
yeah.
I'm like, even at a SolidWorks for Dummies, just in case.
And this, for a lot of our users, even seeing the training books, I know for me, having been a former SolidWorks instructor in a previous role, it was definitely a trip down memory lane. I was like, oh, I remember exactly where I was and the room I was in and what it smelled like when I was giving this course on advanced part modeling.
Yeah.
So, it's great to know that we're honoring our roots, of course, but
30
also,
years young.
Yeah, 30 years young, as GP said. But also just having fun with it.
Yeah, that wall, sorry to interrupt you,
please.
Tracy, but that wall was really cool. I haven't gone back to check to see the heat map of where everyone put their stickers. Have you guys?
I checked it. So I put mine on the very, very beginning of the conference.
Okay.
But it's sort of like the wings that we were looking at.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's sort of like those in that. I don't know what it looks like now. I
need to go back and revisit it too.
Well, I'm pretty sure we actually have video of the wings as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so because
wow.
there it is.
There it is.
Oh, and so what we did, because the playground is now closed, but so order for everybody to see the wings, take pictures of the wings, that's our full community build. They actually, the big hashtag sign that everybody takes their pictures in front of, that's actually there, so you can still see it.
Oh, it's down the hall this way now.
Yeah, it's down the hall right now.
Oh, cool. We'll have to go look at it.
And so Chinlu made sure she brought it out so everybody could take pictures in front of it, because look how gorgeous that is.
So cool. It's really neat.
And again, what we talked about day one, community build, how important community is, and to have everybody's piece, everybody's feather, everybody be a part of it, the woven fabric of our community.
Yeah, this is one of my top 5. I think we're living in some interesting times right now. But if you're here at 3D Experience World, everyone looks completely different from one another, thinks very different from one another, has very different backgrounds. This is a great example of that.
Well, and I think that's where the power is.
Yeah.
Right? Our differences and the way our minds think differently, our different experiences are actually what makes the community good. It makes it what makes it strong and solid. It's where all the different ideas come from. We all bring our different perspective to it, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that with Karim this morning, or earlier today. We were talking about how some of the interesting ideas come from someone having the idea being in the proximity of somebody else that came up with something totally unrelated. This community has such a cool opportunity to do that because it's pretty, tightly woven, but very diverse, which is such a cool strength.
Well, I think another thing that was kind of fun was Model Mania.
Oh, of course.
And,
Model Mania.
and did you see GP at the end? He came out with the bells, and it was so great the way he did it and talked about how much it was to celebrate.
Yeah.
Right?
I just had this thought just now with Model Mania. How we Model Mania should be.
It was so fun.
So actually, let's talk about this at first. Yeah, the way that GP said it was perfect. Solidworks is still an amazing tool. Most of us use it. It is fantastic. I think being able to inject and have the SolidWorks spirit in these new initiatives with these new apps. Yeah, this is right up our alley in terms of sense of humor, not taking ourselves too seriously. You know, and also, as Jason said when he was at the desk today, we had a concept. We wanted to make things really fun for you guys. We rehearsed like crazy with these. We've had multiple Zoom-esque meetings where we were like, okay, let's imagine we're at a desk or in a ring that we haven't designed yet, and we haven't. So we really try to make this stuff awesome for you guys. But like Jason said, and like you saw in probably several clips on LinkedIn and elsewhere, many of our attendees just jumped into the ring and made up their own competition.
So
you kind of
much
made it your
fun.
own. So I love that sort of synergy. For sure.
It is good synergy. Everybody wanted to be part of it, and Gian did amazing.
Yeah.
He had so much fun. I chatted with him a little bit backstage today. What a great job he did with that. So much fun.
Yeah, he was asking us for some help with some segment stuff, and I was like, you know, I'm just paying it forward. You know, one day I'll work. One day we're all going to be working for you anyway, so you're going to remember this. Yeah.
Well, of course, one of the things we have to talk about, another highlight always with this community, is the Tuesday night event. The Tuesday night event is where we all get together and have an amazing time and really celebrate. And as we continue to talk about, there were a lot of first-timers who came this year. And it has been very successful this year. The new initiatives we've had for the first-time attendees have been wildly successful. The amount of people who came up to us, it was like, I'm a first-time attendee, thank you so much, I'm having so much fun. You know, they see our faces, they know who we are. So to be able to have them say to us, like, yes, thank you, this is great. Like, I can't wait to come back next year. I can't wait to come back with my friends. So if you are watching and you're thinking, should I come? Oh my gosh, please let us see you next year. It is amazing. This community is incredible. And not only do we take the learning seriously and how much there is to learn and be inspired by, and the connections seriously, but also it's a little bit of play hard too, and have a fun time, letting loose and just saying, because we're all human beings and let's play.
Just like you said, Tracy, and we'll be back in Houston next year. So if you're having FOMO, please remember to register. Yeah, of course. But I'm smiling because I'm seeing things. I'm like, I wish I would have done that. This was a huge area. But you know, having a lot to do is fine and good and all. But the thing that makes me smile about it is that, you know, at different parts in the day, we all have different levels of energy, right? Some of us are just coming off. I was just coming off a presentation. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, I'm trying to just kind of chill and talk to people. Obviously there was karaoke there, all the ring toss games, lots of great snacks, lots of great drinks, fortune tellers, altar. So you can kind of do whatever you wanted. You didn't have to be around the ton of noise. Yeah, it was
when
packed.
Tracy and I got down, we were looking for you, and we couldn't even get to you.
Yeah. And then we tried that chicken toss.
Yeah, we tried the chicken. We did not know we didn't do well with that. No.
But you still could find a space to have a quiet moment, just have a drink, just catch up with someone. So whatever you wanted to do, if you wanted to do karaoke or do that, you could do it very reasonably. It was a great event.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. What's one of your big top 5 takeaway memories from this week?
Man, I think we covered most of them. I was going to say just newness in general. There was a lot of new things that we tried this year that I really enjoyed. New attendees. Did we ever end up getting numbers? I feel like there was a lot of new attendees, and I keep forgetting to look up and see if I can find the data. But it seems like there were a lot, which is really cool.
Several hundred.
Yeah.
You know, I know it was at least I think at least 200 signed up for the opening reception, depending on when they came in. So I mean, it was.
Yeah,
exact numbers TBD, but it was a lot.
Sure. Yeah, it seemed like a lot, which was great. We tried, Model Mania Extreme for the first time this year, which was so much fun. We tried some different things, just even with the regular Model Mania. I loved having the actual winners up here.
That was one of my favorites.
So cool.
Yeah,
we'll definitely have to do that again.
So that's changed over the years, right? I mentioned Model Mania. Of course, we all know. Many of us know anyway. It has a very storied history. You know, it's been going on for decades now. Yeah. And so how we announce the winners, the different types of competitions within the competition, the things you would do within the competition, there are some mainstays, but some things change. So this year, we completely changed how we announced the winners, and I loved how we did it.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So essentially, you guys probably saw, having the winners at the desk, and then having their models, and having that moment where they open it up. They're almost like blacked out in the the booth. Yeah. They're like trying to go as fast as they can, making sure they paste the mass properties into the system. X out. I'm done. Okay. I hope I got it right. I hope I set the material. Whatever.
What the model looked like.
So yeah, they open it up and like they can't even recognize it. So seeing that, but also having them converse with one another.
Cool.
Like, how did you model it? How did I model it? Yeah, it was a true treat. I hope for all of you.
Yeah, that was fun. We'll have to do that again. The playground was awesome this year. I really enjoyed the playground. That was super fun. I got a chance to talk to Paul from Proteus, who was obviously our 2025 model. I'm sure you guys have seen that and saw our conversation in there. But I haven't seen that unit in person yet.
Yeah, that's right. You've photo rendered it so many times.
Right, all right. I wasn't there for our filming day for it, and I've worked with Paul for a long time, so it was fun to see him. But then to also see the unit here myself, like with my own eyes, was like, whoa, it's there and it's real. It's really cool. It's we obviously work so much in a digital space, and Sean mentioned doing the renderings of it. You're like looking at every little nitty gritty detail of how it looks. Well, I'm intimately familiar with how it looks digitally, and then just actually see it here finally for the first time was really cool.
Yeah, it's like we know all their part numbers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's this, whatever part number, .SLDASM.
Right, yeah,
oh, of course, I recognize that one. That's a great sub-assembly.
Yeah.
Nerds.
I love it. So good.
Yeah, super fun.
I mean, but also some new things this year also were the mentorship roundtables, the Women in Tech panel. I mean, there's really, and let me also say, if you're watching this and you have been, and if you've been in the past, we do take the feedback extremely seriously. We're like, you liked this worked out terrific, and what if we had this? What if there's more women in tech? We're like, we're listening, and we start literally tomorrow writing down the ideas. So continue to share those ideas with us, because that's what continues to grow this event in this community more successfally.
Totally,
100%. What else you guys got?
I know,
we can't
right?
be done. I see 3 zeros, but.
It could be like number 52
I know,
on my
number
list.
50, number 100, number 700. It is so good. It's so good. And we say this every year. It's like the longest, quickest week that you will experience.
Yes.
It goes by so incredibly fast. And I just have notebooks and notebooks full of things to look up and people to connect with. And it really is. It's an incredible week.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want it to end.
I know.
I don't either.
We're right about there.
I know. And then
maybe we'll just bring the cameras with us. We'll go to dinner.
we'll bring the cameras with us. We're just going to keep talking to you. But we're going to talk about next year.
Yeah.
Right? So
we're in Houston.
We're coming back.
Yeah, so and we mentioned this earlier, but I think it merits restating. A lot of the reason why we have this live show is to, once again, bring the best, as much as we can, of the event to you guys, so you see what you're missing. So you missed out on. But the best part about being back in Houston is that if you saw some things you liked, and you heard the things we had to say, and the experiences we had, and the attendees we had at the desk, and everyone we had on stage, every bit that we were able to show you on the live show, you're able to come next year, right? And have a very similar experience. So I'm super excited about that.
Second shot at it.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it again.
Yes.
I'm ready. Tomorrow.
I have to do it.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
know.
The credits.
I know.
So first of all, I want to thank all of you for watching, everyone who attended. I want to thank our event team, largely stuff that's going on behind the scenes, stuff that we don't see, stuff that we're meeting all year round on, trying to make the best experience for all of you who are able to attend. Just wanted to thank our event team, of course, thank our great production crew over at Kramer. I was very happy to hear GP give you guys a very special shout out.
Yeah,
very well earned. The show, in my estimation, was flawless, both in person and virtually. Brand offer marketing team. You guys are just like the skeletal framework of the event. Like without it, without you guys, it would just completely fall apart. Kristen, Brenda, Megan, all of you.
Yes, and thank you. And we know Kristen, and you can't see, of course, but they're behind right now. And they're like, yay! Because congratulations on an incredibly successful event. And we see you back there like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Turn the camera around. Put them on.
It was so much fun. Our tech team, people who did the skit, you, Jesse, of course. Yeah.
And to you, Sean.
Ton of hard work. Our R&D team, mentioned Kramer. Ian, of course. Yes,
Rockstar.
You're on the brand offer marketing team, but as far as live goes, man, the show would kind of fall apart if you were not here.
We'd be still on day one if it weren't for Ian keeping things on track. Right now, it's still on day one.
Yep. And Tracy, of course.
Oh, well, it is such a joy to come on here with Sean and Jesse and all of you. I mean, it's a privilege to be here. It really, really is. And like I said after I outroed Karim, one of the things that's exciting for me is to meet and know over the years, get closer and closer with this incredible community and see how you're all making the world a better place. And that's the truth, and it's amazing.
Couldn't have said it better. Any last words?
We've covered it.
We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Come in person. We'll see you then.
Yep, we'll see you then. Thank you and take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.